Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today I want to play with SVGs. Look at these cute little bunnies. These are not the ones we're going to do, but I want to talk to you 1 second before we get started. One is, I have a video showing you how to use the free SVGs that we give you with our stamp sets. That is the same kind of cut, it just works with our stamp sets. So we're going to link that video below so as not to confuse you. But I've had a lot of you guys tell me you want to see me use a different kind of SVG, the kinds I'm going to show you today, in Cricut Design Space to kind of give you an idea of what those are. Now, brace yourself. You're going to fall in love with this and you're going to want all of them, and it's going to be the reason you're going to want a Cricut. I'm just warning you. Okay, or any electronic cutting machine, but you know I'm a Cricut girl. All right, so here we go. This is what I want to make. I'm going to go up here to the search bar and I'm going to type in, I think it is called, let's do bonnet. I don't think they call it a bonnet, but we're going to do that. And I'm going to scroll right here. Look at this bonnet. It's gorgeous. It's called a skimmer hat. And I made something similar to this years ago, back in 2013 on my channel. I went and researched it. So we'll link that video, but it uses a cartridge. It's a whole thing. We're going to use this today. So I'm going to add this to my shopping cart. And yes, it is $2.99 for this cut file. But guess what? I don't have to make it. I don't have to design it. And once I buy it, it's mine. And that's what I love about it. So now I'm going to go back. And I want to show you something else. Let's say you didn't want to buy just that, but the hat. Let me go back to where we were. Let's put bonnet in. And let's say you wanted to buy the whole set. I want to show you this. So here's the bonnet for $2.99. But for $6.99, you get not only the bonnet, but you get the basket, which I'll click on so you can see it. Look how beautiful that is. And you also get this little egg, which is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh, let my computer do its thing because I've had rough internet lately, y'all, so we're going to deal with the spin. There we go. Look at that little egg. So if you want to spend $6.99, you can get all of them. I don't need the basket or the little egg. I just want the hat, so we're not going to do that one. But let me show you some other stuff. So on Dreaming Tree, if you come to this menu up here at the top, do you see where this says free SVG files? If you just want to try out an SVG and see how it works, there are, I want to say there's 17 pages of free SVG files. So this is page 1. I'm going to scroll over to the far page and show you how many pages there are. Yes, there are 17 pages of free SVG files that you can just try them if you don't want to buy one first. Okay, so let me go back to the first page. It seems like there was something there I wanted to add while I was making today. It was so cute. Let me find it. Okay, so I'm sure we cut away to this, but this is the other one I want, is this little place card holder or this little Easter place set. I want this little guy. It is so cute and it's free, so I'm going to add it to my cart. Now what I want to do is I want to check out with you guys so you can see how this process works, okay? So I'm going to the checkout. Here's my 2 SVGs. They are $2.99, and my subtotal is here, and now I'm going to check out. So let's check out. So I'm going to click on checkout right here. And now I am a new customer. So let's go to new customer and we're going to register. So I'm going to fill out my information and we'll get right back together. So my registration is complete. I'm going to click now continue. And we can go to the bottom and now we can actually check out. Do you see this too? I'm spending $2.99 for these 2 SVGs and I've earned 29 points. We'll look at points in a second. So let me check out. And now here I can choose how I want to pay. I'm going to pay with PayPal. And then it will redirect me to the PayPal site, which is common. That happens most of the time. I paid $2.99 to Dreaming Tree. If you're not directed to Dreaming Tree in 2 seconds, click here. I'm going to wait and let it direct me, and it is. It is processing. And I want you to see this because it's important that you know what to do next, okay? So at the top, you've seen we've checked off all of the boxes, and now it says your order has been successfully processed. Your order number is this. Click here to download your files. That's what we need to do. We're going to click right there. If we scroll a little bit to where it says products, look right here, Skimmer Hat SVG download. That's the one I want to get. I'll go ahead and get both of them, but I'm going to download that one. And in my browser, you can see at the bottom down here, it's showing that it's downloading. So let's go ahead and get this guy too, and it'll show that one as well. Okay, now they are going to my download folder. So now we want to navigate there to go find them. So now I have these in my download folder. You can see here that this is downloads and here are these 2 guys. Now, full disclosure, I cleaned out all the trash out of my downloads so that you guys wouldn't have to look at all that today too. So normally you'd have more things in your downloads than this probably, but here these 2 guys are. Now we need to unzip them. Now in my computer, I can double click it and that will unzip it for me. But if you're in another system, you might need to right click and tell it to unzip, but that's fine. So there's one folder, and let's go ahead and do this one as well. This is the skimmer hat we want to do. All right, so I've got them all undone. So if I open this guy, I'm just going to double click it to open it. You can see here all of this information. One thing I love is that we get an information sheet. This is going to be the Skimmer Hat Box menu PDF. And check this out. Let me bring this where you can see it. Sorry, I've got my screen recording kind of funny here. But look, it's going to tell you everything you need. It's going to tell you the cuts. Look at this. And I'm sure, I feel positive that there will be some assembly instructions. Let me see. No, you know what? I think there is a video for this. We'll go back and look. So there is that. So let's get rid of that one. Don't need that right now. Here is the picture if you want to see that. But this is what we want. This is the meat and potatoes. Let's open this. This is our SVG. Okay. Now these are all the pieces we need to cut. See all of these? So we need to upload all of this into Design Space. So let's do that next. So now we are in Design Space. Okay, so you recognize this. You've been here before. So let's scroll back down. Now, one thing you might be thinking is, Maymay, why would you go pay for that SVG when you have all of this in Design Space that you can use and you pay for access? Let me tell you why. Sometimes there are projects I want to make that aren't in Design Space, and that's how you do it. Now, you don't have to do it that way. I'm sure if I did a search, I could find something that would work just fine in Design Space, but I have been wanting to make this particular hat for a very long time, and that's what we're going to do. So what we need to do first is do New Project. This is very easy. I know this seems a little cryptic, especially if you're not used to Cricut, but it's very easy. Now what we want to do is we want to come over here to the left and click Upload, and we want to go Upload Image. And this is where we're going to go get our SVG. We're going to click Browse. And hopefully my computer will run quick. I don't know. See, my internet and my computer are not loving each other right now. I'm even having this trouble in my live show. So, all right, here's our Skimmer Hat box. So I'm going to open this file. And then I'm going to open the SVG. You can double click if you want. And now I want to upload all of these. Let me see if I can do them all at the same time. I'm hoping that I can. That did not select. Let me go back up and try that again. Oops. Okay, Struggle Bus, I'm on it. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get down here and see if we can get everything selected. I cannot. I have to do one at a time. That's okay. So we're going to do number 1 and open it. And then we're going to tell that one to upload. Notice this too. It tells you the image title there. That's important. So let's leave that there. And we're going to click Upload. And then I'm going to upload an image. And I'm going to go Browse. I'm going to try one more thing and make sure I can't do this all at one time. I'm going to try clicking each one. Nope, it's just not going to let me. So I'm going to go through and do this with every single part of this little guy. It's not as difficult as you think. Remember this too, they're numbered for you, or at least 1 and 2 are, and then they're not moving, which is good. Like sometimes when you upload something, they'll move around in the file. And if you notice here, they're not. So you can see that I've got these 3 done and then this one. So I'm just going to keep going and I'll get right back with you. I want to show you this really quick. Do you see right down here? I can see the ones I have loaded. This also helps me know what I'm getting next. So if I go to upload image and I go to browse, I already have these 3 in plus these 2. Now I'm going to move down here and keep going. Okay, so I counted how many files I should have uploaded and it was 22, okay? And then I came here and I went, oh no, where did they go? I want to show you this in case this happens to you too. If you'll come right up here where it says recent uploads and click view all, they will show. That way you will see them all, because I had a panic moment too. Don't worry, there it is. All right, now I want to count them. So I've got 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's my files. Okay, so now what I want to do is add these to the canvas. So what I'm going to do is just run through and click them. And remember, you can do all of these at one time on Cricut. So once we've got them in, they're easy to work with. And also, that process of uploading them, it didn't take that long. And because the images were visible in the little icons, it made it super easy to get them all in. All right, let's add these to the canvas. Now here's where it's going to get interesting. I don't know if all this is pre-sized for me. It should be. Typically an SVG, especially when you purchase one like this, will come in all sized and all you have to do is cut it. So we're going to see how this comes in and then see what we need to do to go from there to make it. Also, I will let you know, see, this is taking a minute. That's common. This is a lot of files for it to be putting in. That's a lot of big files. So it could take a little while to load. So just be patient and give it a second. And I already told you my computer is not loving me lately. So now you can see that all of our pieces are here in Design Space. Now the first thing I want to do is save this guy. So I'm going to go up to the top where it says Save. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to type in, I'm going to do DT for Dreaming Tree, so I'll know, and I'm going to do Easter Bonnet Skimmer Hat, because I keep calling it both things, and this way I can remember, and I'm going to click Save. Now, I just want to do that so I don't have to do all this again. I don't have to upload any of those files again or anything. This guy is here, and I can do any number of edits I want to inside of here. One of the edits I want to do, I want to show you this. This is very common when you bring SVGs in. I'm going to go ahead and click Make It, only because I want to show you this. So when you click Make It, a lot of times an SVG will not have its score lines attached where they need to be. Do you see how all these score lines came in as their own cut? That's not where they're supposed to be. And how will you know? I'll show you. Let's go back. I'm going to cancel. And when we go back over here, you'll see that those score lines actually live here. You see the score lines here and then also here? I'm going to shrink my screen so you can see even better. There we go. So let me show you what happens. So let's say I drag this one out. Okay, I can see all of those pieces and they are only grouped at this point. Grouped does not mean stay there. Group just means on the screen they are grouped together. In order for those guys to stay there, what I need to do is come down to the bottom with that selected and hit attach. Now when I do that, all of those pieces are together and it's no longer grouped. They are literally together. Let's do that again. Anytime you have an image with the score line, you want to do that. So we're going to attach it. It's not hard. This is very common. You'll see this a lot in SVG files and things like that. But anytime you see any of those little dash lines or things, see, like this doesn't have any dash lines, so we're good there. This one does. It's got a couple of little lines, so I want to attach those. And then the leaves have little pattern in there, so let's attach that. This one does not have any. This one does. You don't have to pull them out. I'm just pulling them out so you can see them. These guys have some little lines, so let's attach that. These guys, and all of these lines, if you've never done this before, these are all score lines or reference lines, or they're really cut lines, so that you can know exactly how to put your piece together. They're used for engineering. That's what they're used for. All right, same thing's going to happen here. I think maybe not. There is a, okay, so see the difference here? See that little circle? Here's how I know that one's fine. It's white inside of there, which means it's hollow. So I don't have to attach that. That's already been done for me. I think that's all I needed to attach. Let's say make it again and see what happens now. Now when we come over, it didn't start with that same form. Let's go to this second one. Do you see this guy? Now those pieces have stayed where they're supposed to be. Do you see that? Now, I don't know if you understand this or not, but I'm going to say this. Like this line and this line is technically a score line. And I'm pretty sure now in Cricut, I've not done it in years. I'm pretty sure now you could literally change those to score lines if you wanted. I'm not going to argue with it. I'm just going to use it just like this. It's how we've done it forever and it works fine. So that's how I'm going to do it. Now, let me go back and show you these big pieces. Where's that blue? I want you to see how those ended up looking, because when we first came over here, these were the score lines we were seeing, and now they're on the blue where they should be. Good. All right, let's go back. And what I'm going to do really quick, because I did all that work, is click Save. Remember, a lot of this is just because I don't want to have to do this again. I can come in and edit it later, but I want to make sure those are all saved. And you might be thinking, yeah, but if you attach them and you save it, can you change it later? You can. The only thing you can't change later is if you weld something, and we're not worrying about that today. All right, let's look at something else. So I needed some paper. We're going to talk about what paper I needed, but I needed a lot of paper for this. And I noticed that this particular piece, let me bring it where you can see it. I'm going to move these guys out of the way, because if I'm going to talk about it, let's look at it. I noticed that this piece holds these little guys right here. These little guys actually go on this little guy. This is called a pussy willow flower, and it needs those little guys right there. Well, I've decided not to use white for my hat base. I've decided to use orange, which I think looks better with the paper I've chosen. So I need to change these colors here, okay? Because I need this to cut white, but I need this to cut orange. This makes sense in a few minutes. It'll make even more sense when we go through the colors. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on this guy and notice that it is not grouped. So I can't just ungroup it to get these guys away. I have to do something a little bit different, and let me show you. There are a couple options. Most people don't like my first option. My first option is this. I'm going to click off of this. My first option is to grab a shape, whatever shape is over here. Let's see what we got. Not whatever. Let me find like, I'm going to use like a circle. Oh, let's get this oval. Get this oval. And I'm going to bring this over here. I've done this forever. This is how I have done a lot of these projects. I'm going to stretch this guy out, turn him, and put him on top of these guys and try to get them all in this circle, or try to get them all covered by this gray kind of blob we're making. I need to make him a different shape there. And then I probably could have done this with a square now that I look at it. I think a square would work, but I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Okay, I got them all, right? Now what I want to do is hold down Shift and select this blue piece and hit slice. Now when I do that, what I can do, once it's done slicing for you to see it, is now I can pull this guy away. I don't need him. He was just my scissors, okay? I can grab these guys and move them out of the way because I don't really need them. And now these guys are loose. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one, but these guys are now loose, okay? So that's one way to do it. You can just slice them off. Let me show you the other way. I'm going to undo everything I just did. Now I have shrunk the screen even more so you can see this. Here's something I have to tell you. It is imperative that you do not resize any of these guys. So don't go, oh, I need to stretch this so I can see what I'm looking at. You cannot do that. Everything needs to stay the same size, okay? So do not stretch anything. What we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate him. So just with him selected up in the top right, I'm going to click duplicate. I'm going to bring him over just like this. Now we're going to use the contour feature. So I'm going to go down here to contour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to contour out the circle. And the way to do that is I can do it in the panel right here by just clicking that, and it will take that circle away, okay? Or if I didn't do it that way, Cricut has like 1,000 ways to do things. I can just click the circles themselves and they will contour out, okay? Now here's the trick. Don't click hide contours. You don't have to click that button. Just click off of the screen and it works. Now you see that I have just those little pieces right there. That's what I want. I'm just going to let those live over here, okay? And I'm going to come to this one and I'm going to contour those little pieces out. So you see what we're doing? We're making two pieces out of one piece is all we're doing. And for me, probably the easiest way to do it would be just go over here to the panel and click them because they all just look like little beans. So I'm going to take those little beans out. Now, I will tell you this. People have 100 ways to do what I just did. Like there's so many different ways to do, it's not 100. There's different ways to do everything, okay? That's just 2 ways I can show you. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want these guys to cut on white paper. So what I'm going to do is go up here to the top operations section and tell it to be white instead of blue, okay? All right, now I know what color I'm doing all my blue pieces. I'm going to be doing them in orange. So I have an option. I can change them all to orange and know when I'm loading them on the mat, these are orange pieces, or I can just know, hey, when it tells you to use blue, put orange paper down. But I'm going to just change them to orange, and let me show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to select one, and I'm going to come here to the top, and I'm going to choose orange. We'll choose this color because it's kind of close to what I'm using. And then, instead of clicking each one of these guys and clicking each one of these guys, I'm going to come over here to my layers panel, okay? And we're going to do color sync. And what we're going to do, you got to just trust me on this, okay? We're going to take this little guy right here. Actually, no, we're going to go this way. We're going to take this blue section here, and we're going to pull it down to orange. And when I do that, all the blue pieces are now orange. So whenever it's going to load on the mat, it will just tell me, use orange. Now, I hope none of that confuses you. I don't think that it will. I'm going to click save again because I'm filming this kind of choppy, so I'm saving it a lot so I don't lose it. So just wanted to tell you that's why I'm saving it a lot. All right, let's go back to layers. Now this guy's ready for me to make. I want to show you the papers I chose and how I chose them, so let's look at that real quick.
Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting.
Now this is a tiny bit backwards. I should have shown you this before I did that last section, but since I didn't, I'm going to help this to make sense as we go, okay? So remember I showed you that it came with that PDF that you can print out. I printed it out and I love it, okay? So what it tells me is I'm going to need 10 sheets of white cardstock. Now, would you believe I had 4 pieces of 12 by 12 white cardstock, so I had to edit it. And what I did for my edit was I chose orange, okay? So I'm going to show you my
orange cardstock. So instead of using 10 pieces of white, my hat is going to be orange. And you'll see why, because it'll go with my paper pack. Next, it told me I needed a sheet of orange cardstock in 8.5 by 11. So all I did was I edited that color to make sure that it wasn't the same. So see how my two oranges are different? So we'll be fine, okay? Then I just ran through and pulled all the cardstocks that it tells me to pull. And here's the cool thing. Notice how they used a plaid? Right here, it tells you to use a striped pattern paper. So that's where you would do that. You would look over here at the picture and then see what they chose so it'll help you, okay? So for me, I wanted to use this paper pack so bad. We've had it a little bit and I hadn't got to play with it. This is the Full Bloom from Simple Stories, and I just think this will be cute for this hat. So I'm using this as my like pattern paper. So anywhere it told me to pull out, you know, pattern papers, that's where I went, was to that pack. And these are the pieces I pulled. So this is going to be my plaid. This is going to be my hat rim, the little the little polka dot rim. And then this, I can't remember, it's for another piece. So I pulled these pieces and notice how well they go with that orange. That's kind of why I wanted to do that. Then for all the other colors it tells me to have, I just pulled them. I just went into my stash and pulled all these colors. Now I want to show you something. I'm using full sheets because that's what it told me to do, but you don't have to do that, okay? If you look at your PDF that's printed, I love this. This, I need an 11-inch wide white cut. So this will be orange for me. Remember when I changed them from blue to orange? This is what they were using for white. They were like, well, why didn't they make these shapes white instead of blue? Well, if they were white, you wouldn't have been able to see them. So blue is a good option. Okay, so this tells me I need 11-inch. So that's a full sheet. But then look, when you carry over, this is 11 inches. So this is a full sheet. But look, for the purple that they're telling me to pull, I only need a 1/8 inch wide piece. So I could cut this down and not have to use a full sheet. I'm just going to use a full sheet because I want to be safe and I don't mind having cut pieces. I'll just put them into bin and use them over and over again. So that's how we're going to do it. All right. This guy, it's so cool. I love this. And it helps you with picking colors. If it's like, you're going to need purple. Well, where do I use purple? Oh, I use it here. I can change that color because I don't want a purple flower, which I did. And let me show you why. This paper pack did not lean itself to purple, but it did lean itself to this blue. So instead of that purple flower, I'm going to use this blue. Okay, a lot of explanation, but once you see how this works, it's super easy. And that's why I'm showing you everything today. So now let's cut this guy out. Now, you guys are going to say, can I do this on my Cricut Joy? And I'm going to make that easy for you by telling you no, because this hat cuts bigger than the Cricut Joy can cut. This one needs to be cut on a 12 by 12 platform, okay? So I'm going to head up here and make sure I have the right machine chosen. The maker's fine for me. I can use the maker, so I'm just going to leave it with that. And now I can go make it. Now, on my screen, you'll see that it has these little white pieces it's wanting me to cut. And because I contoured them, it left them where they were on the piece. So you see how they're so spread out. I'm not going to stress about that. Just when I put my cardstock on the mat, I'll just make sure I put a little piece of white here and then a little piece of white here. Now, do I have to do that? No. I can go back over there and I can slice them apart and clean all that up. I just don't want to do it. It'll take me less time to just put a piece here and a piece here and be done with it. So now I need to get my machine set up so we can get started. So now we can continue and cut this. Now here's the thing. I went and changed the machine. I had to tell it not the Maker, but the Maker 3. I thought I had the Maker in here, but I don't. I had the Maker 3 in my room, so that's what we're going to use. So I want to show you this. I always kind of cheat the system. These are my favorite cardstocks that I usually use, but I like to use the option of glitter cardstock. And the reason is I know it cuts twice. I won't need to change the pressure. I won't need to make it any deeper or it shows right here any more or any less. Can leave it like it is. And the material is already loaded. It's telling me to load the fine point blade, which is in there. So now what I can do is go to my machine and press go. So now at the machine, I'm going to upload my cardstock. And you can see I just put a piece here and then down here for these pieces that I need. I'm going to let that load. Then I'll just say go, the little flashing arrow, and let it cut. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you me cutting every single piece, but it is the same process. The picture will pop in and tell me what color to use next. I'll load that color on the mat. I'll load it in and let it cut, and I'll run through. And when they're all done, we'll get back together and put this guy together. been a little while getting to this point, but I'm super excited. It's time now to assemble. So I need that one other little stamen that's over here. Now, I want to encourage you again to go and watch the video on Dream and Tree's channel because they do a great job of putting these flowers together, and I hope I can do it justice, but we're going to try. So what you do with this one, I'm going to use my quick stick for this. There is a little place in here where you can kind of get this started. You can kind of do it like that to get it started. I'm just going to use this little piece and just roll this. Actually, I think I'll do it up here on the thinner side. And this is what they said in their video. These do not have to be like super, super tight, super curled up, super tight. You just want to curl them. And then you have this little stamen that'll live down inside like this. I'm going to try to get that a little tighter. I haven't made this before, so we're seeing what it's like together. And I think this is, I gotta be honest, I want to make 1,000 of these. Not necessarily this bonnet. I just want to do everything on their website. I'm loving it. Okay, so then this guy will just open up. So I'm going to put a little glue to hold that together. So let's put a little glue right here. And just hold that for a second so it will catch. And then we can always come back and like curl these out like this. I can even like actually give them a little curl with the bone folder. One thing I would do different next time, and this is on me, this is not on the file. I did my colors too similar. I tried to pick oranges that would be different, but they're not. They're pretty similar. So what I'm going to do is go with it this time, but next time I think I'd do it different. Okay, look, do you see these little score marks? We're going to fold these down like so. Actually, I don't think I'm supposed to do that first. I think I'm supposed to kind of curl this first. Let's use my bone folder. I'm doing this from memory, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to kind of curl this a bit just to kind of get it going. And then we're going to make a circle. So you see how you got this little piece here, which is a tab that goes in. So you want to fold that down, and you want to bring this around and make the center of your flower like so. So we're going to glue that together and kind of line that up, and it'll make that center, I think they call it the trumpet. So I'm going to do this little piece here. If you don't have a wet glue that dries really quick, like this is art glitter glue and it works great, you could use a sticky tape here if you wanted to. I think that would be fine. It would be a little fiddly, but you could do it. I'm going to stick my bone folder in and press that together. Get that pressed down, let that hold for a second. And then we're going to close these guys down. This becomes what glues to the inside of the flower. See that, how it kind of gives you that flat spot? So I'm going to put that aside here, and now let's put the flower together. Now, they did this too. You're going to curl your petals. Okay, so I'm going to curl these petals like this. And then something that was mentioned, which I think is really cool, is to come back to the ends of the petals and kind of turn them up instead of just down, because that's kind of how petals do in nature. So you see how I've got that petal like that, and you can even press and lift here like so. And then I'm going to do one more. Now you need 2 per flower. So we'll do this one also. And then we're going to set these off center of each other. Look how beautiful that is. It looks like a real flower. Actually, do I want these to go that way? I think I do. Let me kind of bring them up. Because with this type of flower, you want it to go, I think I did that wrong. I think I want this type of flower to go that way, don't I? Let's curl it the other way. See, I haven't done it before, so I'm learning. And I don't mind if the petals are soft. That's not a big deal. So let's curl them up, and then let's curl it back. Yeah, this is more like it. I'm just trying to do it from memory. I should have got the video out and watched it again as I went. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Do you see that shape? Much more like it. Let's do it here too. Okay, now let's glue these together. Put a dot of glue here. And then here, I apologize for that phone beeping. Vince's iPad is in here from the live show. We just literally finished the live show, and we haven't turned it to do not disturb yet, and I need to do that, so I apologize. Let me add a little more glue. I just was so anxious to get back to these flowers. So looking forward to this one. It's so pretty. Another thing you can do, which I think is cool, you can reference back to the instruction picture. See? So if you want to see how it's looking, you can do that and kind of match it to that. All right, see how mine are just too matchy-matchy? It makes me sad. I could change it. I could color it with a marker or something. I'm not going to worry about that today, but next time I will. All right, so glue on that little end and then press this down. And it doesn't go straight up. You'll see it's got a little angle, and that's on purpose. I'm just going to press that in and let that catch. And I'm going to take my finger and push these guys back a little bit just so they kind of open up. And then this guy gets glued into the center. We'll glue around the edge. And then we're gonna place that inside here. That'll be easier said than done. I'm gonna use my tweezers. Perfect. All right, we're gonna build the other one the exact same way. So on the video, they curled these petals up, and I think it's cute. And I think I saw that in the box as well. Yeah, see how the petals are kind of turned up on that purple flower? I think that looks really good. Now they use purple, but I use blue to kind of match what I'm using. And I love how this looks all curled up. So there's that one, and let's do this one. And then they just glued these two together. And you remember that center we had earlier? Of course, you offset these a little bit. And then we can bring our little center over. I said offset it, then I lined them right up. There we go, just a little twist, fixed it. Okay, let's get our center. And once I put this in place, I'll probably come back and put a little something in the middle, a bling or something like that. But this will do for now. That's cute. Very cute. Okay, we're gonna keep going. This little flower, there's no assembly to it. You just curl these petals up and it just goes in place, and you put a little bling in the middle and it's done. So I'm gonna curl these really good. Here's something I want to tell you. Be careful when you're curling. Based on what you use for cardstock, if you curl too hard, if you're too heavy-handed, you could like tear a petal off, and you don't want to have to go back and recut. All right, let's look at leaves. So here's all my little container I put everything in. For the leaves, I'm just going to do a gentle like this, and then I'm going to come back and do like this because I want them to be kind of like that. Maybe not even quite that much. Just play with it. Just get it to where it looks like a leaf kind of laying over. Just kind of work it a little bit. I'm doing these gentle because they will curl just like a ribbon, but I want to go super gentle. I love these leaves. They're my favorite ones. There we go. All right, these guys, you can bend them in the middle. They have little like score lines in the middle, so you can squish them like this and get a little dimension on them like that, which I really like. It kind of gives you another sort of texture. So I'm going to fold on those and get that and just kind of like, see that, like a little TP. All right, here's another one we need to curl. And you can curl these after you put them on too. All right, this little piece and this little piece. So you notice that mine is not polka dot like in the picture. It was supposed to be, but I put the wrong paper on the mat and I was like, I think I can still use this. This is just like a buckle that goes around, and I think that looks kind of cute. So it doesn't need anything done unless you wanted to ink it, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna curl the rest of these guys, and then we're gonna put that little guy together. Now, honestly, I don't think you need to be very picky about where you put these guys, but kind of every one of these little tips gets one. So let's just go right here, and I'm gonna use my quick stick for this and get both pieces. And I'll just pick up like this one and put it here. Press that into place. I think that's really the gist of this one. Just making sure you get the little pieces on. Anywhere there's kind of a little kind of jut out or petal spot. I don't really know what to call it. I am putting it with the pink side out. I noticed that's how they did theirs. See how the pink is up, and I thought it was really cute. So I'm doing that. That is one thing I'm paying attention to. Okay, so all our flowers are put together. They will go onto our hat brim once we get the hat built. But now we get to build the hat, and I'm super excited about that. So let's go. Now, I watched the video to learn how to do this, okay? So I'm going to assemble with you and show you how it's done. Actually, you don't do that first. I almost messed up. Here's what you do. Each one of these pieces, these 4 pieces that look like these, I call them like jigsaws, that's what they look like to me, are going to get attached together. We're going to make this one long piece. So what you do is you put glue on one of the tabs, and then you take a non-tabbed section and glue it down, and there's even a little score mark for you to match it up to. And all you want to do is try to keep it pretty straight. And if you struggle, you can use your cutting mat to help you be kind of straight and get that pressed into place. And then we're going to just continue that out. So I've got another little bit of a tab here. I should spread that out. It might dry quicker. There we go. And then I'm going to place this guy right to the other score mark that's made for me to see it. Now, something that the person who did the video, it's Leo. I don't know if you know Leo Cow. He's a sweetheart. But Leo was saying in the video that these pieces we're putting together here are not even seen. They're just kind of construction pieces. So you don't have to be perfect. You do want to try to get everything kind of lined up, but perfection is not needed. And this piece, although you'll see some of it, you won't really see all of it. So just do it the best you can. The biggest thing to me for this, I'm guessing, is going to be to get this one pretty straight. Okay, so there's that. Now what we're going to do, when it is dry, don't go too quick. You've got this super long piece. You want to circle it in, okay? And you want to glue this tab to this tab so you get a big circle. So I'm going to add glue here. These paper engineering products just speak to my paper love. This is what I love to do. Every time somebody asks me, what's your favorite project to do? Anytime I can take paper and turn it into a 3D thing, that's my favorite thing to do. All right, I'm going to zoom out so you can see a little better, because you're going to need to be able to see all of this. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go around and start folding these tabs down. Don't stress too much, just get them folded down. You don't have to bone fold them or anything like that, just push them down. And that's one thing I love about using the cut marks for score lines versus score lines. You may already know this, but on the Cricut machine, it doesn't score super deep, but when you have these cut lines, it makes these little folds easy to do because the paper's just kind of trained that that's where it's going to go. So I'm not having to like be super specific. I'm just pushing and they are going under. So that is great. So all the way around, turning these down. We're almost there. Then we're going to flip that over. Okay, so we want to turn this to where the ones we have not done are facing up. Okay, we want those facing down. Now check this out. The piece with the little hole is the piece that goes here. It's going to be hidden, you won't see it, but it's to let you know that's the liner piece. Okay, so what I would suggest is take your glue and put it here around this circle. I'm just going to run around. You want this glue to land on all those tabs. So don't go far away from the edge. You want to stay pretty close to the edge. I sound like a pro that I've done this before. I have not, but Leo's video makes it pretty easy for me to know what to do. All right, so there is our glue all the way around. Now I'm going to take this guy upside down, put it into my circle, and glue it down. Now, something that we were cautioned in Leo's video was to make sure that we keep the tabs underneath. Don't let them pop up on you, and don't glue these down. You want to just put that in. Look at that. That is so awesome. Oh, to be able to design this kind of thing. That would be so fun. So fun. All right, so I'm going to run around, glue this down to our little tabs. Make sure it's all pressed down nice and snug. I'll flip it over and let you see that. All right, so some of my little tabs are sticking up, so I'm going to go press again. Just make sure I get them all down. They're going to be hidden. They're going to sandwich, but I want to make sure they're down good. So some of them might not have glue on them. Like, I don't think these have a lot of glue. Let me go and touch up where there's some sticking up. Right here needs some. Okay, we're glued down pretty good. These that are kind of sticking up, they're glued down, but they're just kind of a little bit lifted. No big deal. They're going to get sandwiched. They're going to get hidden. Okay, so now what we want to do, if I remember correctly, because I'm doing it from memory, is we want to build the box that's going to go inside here. Let's do that. So this is the part of engineering I just think is so cool. These pieces create a box that are going to give you stability for when you're adding treats inside. So you're going to add some glue to these little points, and then you're going to put these together just like we did that first piece. So score line to score line, just like so. Glue that down and make yourself a long piece that we're going to make a stability box. That's the best way to describe it. And if it doesn't make sense to you right away, it will as we get going, because you'll see where it's going to live and it'll make sense. Again, this is something that will not show ever. It is just a piece to give your box support. So you will not see this. So we're just going to, it doesn't even matter what color you do. If you have like a color of cardstock that you really don't like, that you don't even want in your stash, just use it, because this is hidden, okay? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold these up on those score marks, because it's going to be a square. So I'm going to go ahead and fold those into place just so they're already scored when I get to that point. And then we're going to finish this off like we did that round piece. Now what I mean by that is we're going to glue this one to this one. I'm going to go ahead and fold it. There we go. And we're going to make a square. And we'll stand it up so we get a good square here. And now, making sure we're folded well over there, we're going to fold down these pieces. I'm just going to reach over here and fold them into place. I'll start with those. Whichever one goes, it doesn't matter. We're going to do all of them. So you have score lines here. Don't forget, they're score lines. So I'll get the top done, and then we'll go around and do the bottom, or what is now the top because I've turned it up. And you're just wanting to get these where you can glue. And I'll show you what's happening. I'll pick it up and put it in the camera in just a second. Okay, so that's what we've created. And if I turn it to the side, you can see we're just creating this kind of piece that looks like this, that we're gonna then glue these square pieces onto. So this becomes that support. So I'm gonna put some glue in here. Not gonna show. You're gonna add glue to it again later, so you'll get more support from your glue as we keep going. But this, we're gonna put on top of this and then kind of square it up. You don't have to be super precious. It's not gonna show. It is literally just a tool basically for the whole project. So got that side glued down, flip it over. We're gonna do the same on this side. So you can see we've just built a cube, or not a cube really, but just a box. See that? So now you're gonna go back to that piece that you created a moment ago, and you're gonna glue this into here. This is gonna live inside the brim and be hidden, but it gives you support for when you put something in your treat box. It won't collapse the brim of the hat. So this one I'm gonna glue into place, and I want it to stay. So I'm gonna put probably more glue than you would think. I'm actually scratching this on. I'm not putting it super thick, but I do want it kind of everywhere. And then I'm gonna glue this into kind of the middle, just kind of eyeball in the center. It's good. You just need that extra support. All right, now we're gonna fold all these little pieces down and repeat that process that we did earlier by gluing that other piece on here. Okay, you'll notice these don't have the holes in them, these pieces, because they are gonna be more of your seam pieces, so you don't want those little holes like the liner piece had in it. So this is gonna get glued here. Now you can put glue on the circle or on the tabs. I think I'm gonna go on the tabs, just so I know glue is getting where I want it. And if you think you need to kind of go halfway and then do the other, you could always put glue on half of these and then come back so your glue doesn't dry. But I'm trying to put it on a little heavier than usual because I think that'll help it not be too dry. All right, we're gonna put this one. Oh, I gotta put glue in here too. I almost forgot. This is that stability. This is where we're growing it. All right, and we will place this guy on. I got another circle over there that's wanting to come in. Let's put this down. Just work yourself around, getting that glued down. I think this is so cool. All right, that one's on. Now what we're gonna do is flip this over. You can feel the stability in there. See all that? That's from my work surface. I should have cleaned it off. That's from my inks earlier. These pieces right here just act like they ain't got no glue. They act like they ain't got no glue, but I know they do. All right, now same thing again. This time we're gonna put our glue around the very edge. Then we're gonna put glue in the middle, and then we're gonna put another piece on top. That is the piece that's gonna clean all of this working up. Like, who thinks of this? Who is this smart, right? I'm sure, well, the artist names are on the project, so I could just look there, but I'm telling you, it's so smart to think of all of this that needed to be done to make this happen. All right, that other piece. This is the final piece. This is really gonna make it sturdy. It's the final circle that goes on. And now we have our hat brim all put together. Okay, in this one, we're gonna do much like we did before. We're gonna come in here, you can see some little score marks here. We're gonna put glue on this side of those score marks. And something he said in the video when you put them together is you want to leave this side over here, obviously, but when you put this down, you wanna cover up the score mark there. And that's what I think lines everything up correctly. You wanna rub that down. I'm gonna stand this up on my work surface to make sure that I'm flat and don't have like a lift in the middle, and I actually did. Now we're gonna curl this around and glue this down. Same thing on this end. We're gonna go put glue on the other side of that score mark and just match these guys up. So it goes just like that. I wanna make sure I cover those score marks up. Now I'm gonna do something because I wanna make sure I'm doing this right. So there's my first circle. Okay, this is gonna be the lift of the hat, but I wanna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one together and make sure they fit inside each other to make sure I didn't do anything wrong here. And I think I'm doing it correctly. So Leo says in the video that you'll notice one of these little flaps is thinner than the other, but it is very tiny of a difference, and I didn't notice it by looking at it. So I just think I put the two that look the most alike together. And I'm gonna glue these down, and then I'm just gonna do a test run to make sure these fit inside each other, because they should. This is a treat box, so one should sink into the other. Doing it like this will let me know which is the top and which is the bottom. Now I'm gonna turn these little toothed edges down, and I'm gonna put this one on top so I can see. Oh, look, see, that tells me, doesn't it? think I can tell that this one, see, that's what I wanted to be sure of. So this one will be the top of the hat. So I'm going to put it aside so that I know that. And this is the one that goes on the bottom. Now here's how you do this one. Very interesting, okay? You're going to take these little teeth pieces and turn them out. I love this because this is going to help us make sure we get this guy in the center. Very smart how this was designed. So turn all these little teeth out, and then you guessed it, we're going to glue them. Now, you're not going to put glue on the top of them. You want to turn this over, okay? And we're going to use this piece so we can be sure to get it round and centered on our hat brim, okay? So what you want to do here is you want to put glue on the inner ring of this little guy. Then we're going to turn that glue down and put it on top of this, like so. Get that fitted in there. And press it down. Boy, I had to do some work on that top. There it goes. And it is making that sit right. I need to doctor this because I bent that. And that makes me a little sad. But that is what is going to give us the perfect circle, is using that ring to help us do that. Isn't that awesome? Oh my gosh. I love paper engineering, you guys. So now what we're going to do is wipe off our work surface because I don't want this glue to get onto my hat. Okay. All right. This guy is now going to get glued on here. See? Like this. So it's one more layer of stability as well as keeping this centered. It's so cool. So you're going to glue from down here. Go ahead and make sure you put plenty of glue in here. And then also out here. Now this will match up with our other circles. And everything will be centered like it's supposed to be. So run that around. Spend a little time on this one. Spend a little time making sure you get that center glued down as well. Because you don't want to put treats in here and then have them pop out. You know what I'm saying? Or go underneath. All right, so there's our bottom. It's so neat. Okay, now let's finish the top, the lid here. Now with this one, we're going to turn those guys in. So we're going to turn all our little teeth in here. And again, we're going to look for the circle that has the hole in it. That lets you know it's your liner piece. So you're going to turn this up with those teeth down like that, and we're going to put glue around the edge of this one. And then this slips inside, and you just want to make sure that you get it on all of those little teeth. Well, that was the easiest one I've done yet. I really thought that would be the hardest that I've done, but it was the easiest one. Just going to turn this around like this. Excellent. And then when you turn it over, making sure everything's stuck down. It's not quite stuck down. You kind of burnish in there a little bit. Now you have another piece that's going to go on top and close that and hide all that working. Let me make sure that's the right one, because there was one I saved. Yep, this is the right one. I saved this. This was that center cut, and I think it's a little bit smaller, so I'm not going to use it. I just don't want to get rid of it because I didn't know if I needed it, but it looks like I don't. All right, we're going to run our glue around, glue this little guy on, and we are ready for the next step. Now I'm bringing my hat base back over, and I will show you, because we tested this, we should be right. Look at that. It's beautifully fit. Beautifully fit. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do the fun part. All right, so let's take this guy off. Now we get to do some pretty color to it. I've been dying to put this on. We're going to go first with this. This piece goes around here and gets glued down. I have been dying to do this one because I just think it's going to change everything. So what we're going to do, I'm going to apply the glue here so I don't have to scrub it down the hat lid again. So I'm just going to put some glue out here like so, all the way around. Not going all the way to the edge because this has a ruffled edge and you don't want any of that glue to kind of seep out underneath it. I can always go back and stick somewhere I'm missing glue. Every layer we put on, this hat gets sturdier and sturdier. Every layer. All right, let's put this guy back on. Push him down into our glue. Look at that. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. In her Easter bonnet. It's all I keep thinking in my head. In her Easter bonnet. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's put the top piece on because it is also plaid, and it's this piece here, and it just goes right on top just like that. So pretty. So pretty. Now we have this piece that goes around the hat, and I'll show you how I think I'm going to put this on. The seam is I've got a seam in the back here, right? I also have one in the front. Just pick the one you want to use as your main seam. They kind of match up. I'm just going to start back here. And what I'm going to do is I'll put glue on here. I think I'll glue a little bit at a time. I say that, I may not. I may just put glue on the whole thing. Yeah, I will. And then I can just wrap it around. And I'm just going to overlap these where they overlap and try to keep work from that one seam in the back as much as I can. And I don't think this covers the whole thing. I think there's an edge from top to bottom. There is. So you see how you're going to center that from top to bottom so you have the little orange bit showing. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to bring this around. It needs to go up a tiny bit. And there's our first rim. Just going to make sure that's sticking good. And then I'm going to add my next one. Now, I want to see where I need to add it. I'm just going to do a little dry run to see how much it will overlap. Oh, plenty of overlap. Okay, plenty. All right, so let's start back here then. Oh, I put the glue on the strip. Let's do that again. Seemed to work well. So I'm just going to take this one and stack it on top of that one and wrap it around as well. Make sure I get them lined up even. There we go. That worked perfect. All right, let's roll that on. Perfect. Perfect. All right, now we can do the little brim that goes around it, which is this guy, and it works the same way. We're just going to glue it around the circle just like we did this guy. I may have missed something on that last one. There are score marks here for me to overlap them. Maybe I should have done that. I didn't, and I might have missed it. He probably said that in the video, and I forgot because, like I said, I'm doing it from memory. But if you want to do that, look for the score marks and just line it up like we've been lining everything else up. Or you can do it like I did it. It worked either way. I have glue all over me, all over my work surface. Sign of a fun afternoon. This piece gets glued right to the bottom edge of the piece you just put on. So you see how you still want that little orange bit to show, or whatever color you used, but you want that little bit to show underneath it. So I'm just putting that around like that. Well, that worked out well. All the lines lined up like we wanted them to. And then I just want to make sure that's glued on. I just glued it onto the wrong side. You guys, I glued it upside down. Don't make this mistake. Just let me make it. We're gonna let it ride. My hat will just look different. It's a fashion statement. Makes me sad because I was super excited, but now my brim is up. Let's see how it looks on the hat. If I don't like it, I'll redo the whole thing. I actually don't dislike it, and I think if I don't tell somebody, they won't know the difference. It just looks like this is the brim now instead of this, and it doesn't bother me, so we're gonna go with it. We're not gonna waste a whole afternoon of crafting for that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I think it's time for flowers. Okay, so now it's time to do the flowers, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little nervous about it because I'm not good at this, so I'm really gonna lean on what they've done. And I remember in the video, he said he put these on with like glue dots. I'm gonna try the same thing. So flower number one, I noticed in his video when he took the lid off, the flower came with it. So it's gonna be hard for me to show you this, but basically when I glue this on, I'm gonna glue it to the top, not to the bottom hat itself, so that way it'll lift off. And I think that's why he did it with glue dots, because he could place kind of glue dots where he wanted them. I don't know, I'm guessing. And then he could just glue the flower where he needed it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put these glue dots here, plus it gives them a little bit of flexibility for when somebody's opening and closing. Okay, and I'm gonna start here. So I want it kind of low, but I don't want it glued down to the base. So do you see that? It looks beautiful. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this next one. I'm keeping this here so I can reference it. I think that one goes about like that. That is so pretty. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this little piece together. Look at my fingers. Oh my goodness, they're so dirty. So I'm gonna glue these two pieces together and then go ahead and put this on so I don't cover it up, or know where to not cover, basically. Put that little guy like that. And then I think I want it to live about here. That's about where they've got it in their picture. And then we're gonna add, I think I'll add the leaves and then the flowers. I'm just using my wet glue for the leaves because I can just kind of tuck them in here and there. I know this is hard for you to see, and I'm just kind of feeling my way around. Looking at this picture, seeing where they have a leaf. The thing to remember is glue them to the hat not to the brim. Like glue them to the top, not to the bottom, so that whenever the lid comes off, it can still come off. I'm anxious to glue this guy on, and I think it lives here based on the picture, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it in place. It's going to live behind that flower. That's so pretty. So pretty. All right, then this little flower is kind of glued onto the top of a petal, it feels like. So I may glue him. I kind of like him lifting out. I think I'm going to do him with a glue dot. I'm going to glue him to that petal. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Lots of body on there. I think I'm going to bend that petal a bit so I can get him right where I want him. I may even glue him in place at the top. I think I will. Put a tiny bit of glue here where I want him to kind of stay. I'll turn this up and let you see it in just a second. Okay, so here's what we're looking like right now, and I still have more leaves to add. So let's put some out to the side over here. Then these beautiful dark leaves. I think they're going to be beautiful. I think I'll tuck them kind of in here like this. Maybe glue dot it in. I think that's a good idea. What happens with the glue dot that makes it a little different is you don't wipe wet glue everywhere you go as you send it inside, and it just kind of goes right where you put it, if that makes sense. So like if I want to take this in here and I want it to live on that petal, I'm not wiping glue all the way as I go. So put that one right there. I like that. And then I'll put this other one to the other side. Oh, I like it there. This one I think I can glue. I think I can get it in easy. I tore the end off of one because it was a little bit too long for where I want to put it. I won't have to fight as much of it that way. And I want to glue it right behind this flower on the petal itself, so it'll kind of have a little more shape there. I'll show you what I mean. See how I glued that one to the petal? I love this. I was really concerned about how the flowers would turn out. I wasn't sure I would do such a good job because I'm really not good with placing these kinds of things, but they kind of are just doing it themselves. They're kind of just making it happen. These are the little leaves. I'm going to put one behind this flower. So there's this little pink flower that was supposed to have little green leaves behind it and be placed on here. I decided no, because I used my green leaves without thinking. I'm going to put this one right here. I'll add a little pink to the back. So I just tucked it in like that. Okay. And then I found some bling that we're going to use. This is some green sticky back bling that I have in my stash. I love bling in my stash because you never know when you're going to need it. And I'm going to put this in the middle of that flower. I want to get that where you can see me do it. See if I can do it like this. Oh, I'm trying. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to put that into the flower like so, and then I'm going to squish it in place. Squeeze that on. There's that one. I like the green in there. I think it needs a little touch there. Then I'm going to put one on this little guy too. On the little pink flower that didn't have a center. Perfect. So that gives just a little bling back there. Super cute. All right, the last thing we have to do, I'm going to take this lid off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the little strips that go around the edge and we're going to glue these down. So I think I'll start, I think this is kind of the back of the hat. I don't really know that it matters. So I'm going to glue this down, and I'm not going to like glue these together in one big long strip. I'm going to put one on and then the next one and then the next one. Now for the last strip, there's 4 strips, but I don't need nearly as much as it gave me. So I'm going to cut this off so I don't have to wrap it around so much. So I'm just going to cut it about here, add some glue, glue it on, and finish that out. So now we have that little rim. So cute. Let's put our flower hat topper back on. I'm really, really pleased with this. I don't know why I'm surprised, because it is a beautiful SVG file, and I'm really pleased with how sturdy it is. I was afraid it wouldn't be because I didn't use like really super thick cardstock. Some of this is the Sizzix cardstock, the little textured cardstock. Some of this is PA that we carry. And then of course the Echo Park. It's not super, super thick, but it's very sturdy and I love it. All right, guys, here's the thing. Since I've been making this, we got a coupon code from Dreaming Tree that you can use. I think Tamitha showed you that earlier in the video, but I'm gonna let you know. Between now and the end of April, you can enter the code MaymayMadeIt at your checkout, and you can use that coupon one time between now and the end of April over at Dreaming Tree. There'll be links and more information in the description about that. Also, if you make this hat, I'm so interested to see all the different variations that you guys will do. Share it with us on our customer gallery. That's at MaymayMadeIt.com. We have a customer gallery for your photos. And don't forget, I'm trying to reach that 400,000 subscriber goal this year. I would love it if you would click that red button to subscribe. It's free. It just lets YouTube know that you want to see my videos. And you can also set notifications so it can let you know when I upload my next video. Thanks so much for being here today. And until next time, bye now.